Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, today on Project Ruby, we're going to be spraying some epoxy. Well, maybe not today. We have to finish prepping the bottom of Ruby's floor pan. I've gotten most of it done. I've just been slogging through the heat trying to get this prepped. My little fingers are all sore from trying to get in the nooks and crannies, but I've got most of it done. So we have a little bit of finish work to do to get everything cleaned up and ready for epoxy. Then I think what we'll do is get up super early tomorrow morning, maybe get out here about 5:30 in the morning and spray. You really don't want to be spraying that stuff when it's that hot. I got a late start this morning. One of my big trees dropped a pretty big limb and crushed my pasture fence in one area. So I had to spend some time doing a cleanup. It's 9 o'clock, 9:05, and it is 93 degrees in the shop already. So by the time we get this ready, it'll be way too warm to be spraying anything. So let's go ahead and just take a quick tour of what I've done so far, the tools I've been using besides my fingers, and then we'll get back at it and kind of finish up some of these areas, get the bottom cleaned up, and then that way we're ready to go tomorrow morning. All right, let's start off by looking at the tools I've been using. Now I did this, the bottom in like sections, you know, that way I don't lose track where I'm at and forget some spots. And plus, you get a little bit of a win. You know, you finish that section, you get to move on to the next one. So it kind of keeps you mentally fresh, and so you can just keep at it. And it's been tough with this heat. So I've been using this is a wire wheel like off a bench grinder on my sander polisher, so it's not spinning too fast. I've been using the high-speed cup wheel right here on the same sander to get, you know, areas. So just been basically wire wheeling everything I can wire wheel. Using you know, just anything I can find to get the area, you know, just initially cleaned up and, you know, scuffed. And then I switch over. If there's any welds or any spot welds or anything, I get the flapper disc out, try to smooth anything so it doesn't cut my hand or the sandpaper. And it's, you know, a smooth edge holds paint way better than a sharp edge. And then I use the burr tool if I need to, some areas, a little Rolock with some 80 grit on it. And I just bought these. I haven't used them yet, but my fingers were getting so sore, I thought, you know what? I found this little set on Amazon. And I thought, well, man, these would be good to put on the drill and just cram down in the nooks and crannies. So that's what I've been using. Of course, the DA, I've got some 220 on the DA right here to DA the whole area. I've been using my little crappy drill with some Scotch-Brite, or this is Duragold. That's 150 grit. It's pretty aggressive. I just cut it in a circle, stick it on there, and you know, condition the area. And some 220 sandpaper just to sand the areas I can't get with the machine. And that's about it. So just a little bit of everything, trying to get the car prepped up. So let's swing over and take a look at what I got done already. All right, well, I started in the back here, and I've got it pretty good. There's a few areas behind each arm here that I need to do better by hand. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray epoxy to this lip right here. So we'll mask that off, and then we'll take care of that on the top side. But I've tried to do a really good job. I do need to rotate the car over so it'll give me a different view. You know, like down here I can see everything, you get down in everything, but when you're up, you know, overhead, maybe you're not doing as good a job and you can't see everything. So I do need to rotate the car. But I've got most of this all done. The wheel wells still need to be done on both sides. I want to rotate the car to make it a little easier to reach them. But everything else I've got down in every little spot I can reach, and I'm going to use those new little wire wheels to get some, you know, back in here and stuff. It's just so hard to get down inside there. But it's looking really good. Now this is, you know, wire wheeled, sanded, DA'd, Scotch-Brite padded, everything. So it's coming out really nice. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, I did it in sections. So, you know, I did kind of from there to there, you know, and then I kind of did this area where that brace is, and then between each one, and I just kept jumping like that, taking breaks in between. You know, this is like 2 days work right here, and so it's actually looking really good. Really happy. You can see I still have some work right down in here, Got a little work up in there, same spot, but I got all this. Actually hammered on the transmission tunnel a little bit more and sweetened that up even better, so it's looking really good. And I think what we're gonna do is probably spray epoxy to, you know, right in this area right here. We'll just stop right there, and then we'll do the rest with the front. I think that'll work out pretty good. But yeah, it was long and crappy work, but you know, it's got to be done, and it's got to be done. So I'm imagining the interior is going to be the same thing. The exterior of the car is going to be a piece of cake because it's all smooth and, you know, almost no nooks and crannies, right? So trying to get all this crap work out of the way, and that way when we get to the outside, I'll be really have my kind of like procedure set, and so I can really do a super good job on the exterior. All right, guys, I'm kind of anxious to try these out, see how they work down inside these little spots. So let's give that a shot, see if we can get that a little bit better than I got it. Wow, that works pretty good. Wow, that is working fantastic. I think I need to buy more of these when I'm doing the interior, that's for sure. I imagine these are going to kind of start falling apart. But yeah, look how good it got down inside that little corner. Got my finger in there with Scotch-Brite and sandpaper, and I just couldn't do a very good job. But both of those worked out really good. All right, I'm going to hit all those spots I didn't off camera real quick, and then I'll bring you back and we'll get to work on some of the front. And then we'll do some work on these wheel wells and just kind of show you what my procedure is. Might give you guys some ideas on prep for your cars. All right, let's finish this area off right here I didn't get yet. I've got a little fan blowing on me, so I apologize if the audio is not as good as usual. So I went with that drill and that little tiny wire wheel, and I got down in all the little corners I could find, and that thing works great. I wish, my fingers wish I would have bought those sooner, but at least we have it for the interior. So I've been getting a lot of use out of this simple bench grinder wire wheel. I was using the cup one, and it worked good, but I thought, you know what, I can't reach down inside here because the head of the polisher was hitting. So I grabbed this, and tell you what, it's working good. So because you can use the side right here to kind of get, you know, this area, and then you can use the front right here to get down inside there. So this has actually worked out way better than I thought. I used it the majority of the time once I switched over. So let's get this cleaned up real quick. Okay, as you can see, that does a really good job. So I start with the big ones, and then I work down smaller and smaller, because obviously if you start with the small one, it doesn't cover much of an area, and it's not as aggressive. So now we need to kind of prep this over here. I'm going to get the DA out, and we're going to DA what we can, and then we're going to get in here with the Scotch-Brite pad on the drill, and then we're going to get some sandpaper off after this area. And we have some nooks and crannies down in here. I'm going to get that drill back in here and see if we can't get this area down in here. Okay, we got all those nooks and crannies pretty good. Before we move on, I don't know if you guys can see how this is flared out right here. That's something else I've been doing. All these little flanges and stuff that aren't laying flat. Just been hitting them with a hammer, and then if I need to get the welder out, I'll spot weld it and grind it smooth. There were quite a few spot welds along here on the other side that missed. They were just 3 pieces of sheet metal that weren't attached. They were spot welded on each side, but there was a spot weld that just didn't do its job. So I ended up either welding those or re-spot welding them. And I've been doing that all over the whole bottom of the car. So a little bit of hammer work, a little bit of dolly work, you know, try to smooth out some of these these flanges and stuff so they're not sticking out, and they're straightening them out. Who knows, somebody could have stuck a jack underneath the car and bent some stuff or whatever, but kind of just been doing that as I go. So let's get a DA on this and then get the Duragold on it. Gets down inside these spot welds and everything really good. All right, that's all the places I can reach. Now, when I trim those to fit on that little wheel, leaves a lot of little pieces behind, but I just hang on to them, and they're great for getting down, down inside here. You're just gonna throw them away otherwise, so I just use them up, get down into spots that wheel I couldn't reach for whatever reason. And it does a really nice job of getting this all conditioned, ready for the epoxy. All right, and then the last thing I do is I've got some 220 sandpaper here. I just like to go over the whole thing. All right, all I gotta do is blow that off, and that's looking really good. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other little spots I haven't done, and then we're gonna rotate the car and get after those wheel wells. All right, we got those areas really nice. Looking good. Everything's looking really good. I'm really happy. Got the back areas that hadn't reached. I got this one, got the other one. Now all we have left is the wheel wells. So I think what I'm gonna do is use that wire wheel on as much of it as I can, and then we'll try to get in there, sand. Obviously a DA is not gonna work, so it's gonna be, some hand sanding and some other stuff. We have a little bit of sealer, that seam sealer right there that didn't come out, so I gotta get a little pick or something and pick that out of there. But these stripped out really nice. There's just a little bit, that black down at the bottom is not undercoating, that's actually left over from the phosphoric acid. It leaves that blackness behind sometimes. There was an air bubble right there, so it probably didn't treat it as well. So we are looking really good. Let me set the camera down and get these things busted out. All right, let's just get this done. So I'm using a 2-inch roll lock with a 3-inch roll lock disc so it can flex and get down in all these curves. Some of that bluing and the other stuff, when I had to heat this one to bend it to do what I wanted, it's not coming off with the wire wheel, so I want to make sure it comes off all the way. Well, I was wrong. That is some undercoating or something. Let me get that sanded off and then we'll finish up. All right, that takes care of that. All we got is a little bit over here, wire wheel, and then I'm going to get in here and sand it and scuff it with the Duragold, and we will be just about done. Boy, I'm glad to get this over with. All right, all done. Looking really good. Kind of hard to get in a few spots, like back here. Wanted to make sure that was done really well. But I think it looks fantastic. And I went ahead and sanded down the edge of the rocker panel here a little bit. Since this is kind of technically the bottom of the car, and it's pitted so badly, while I'm spraying this, I want to put a couple of coats on here to get a head start on filling in all those pits. Kind of taking care of that. So we'll do that on both sides, but we are looking really good. I need to finish the other side, and that is it. And we can start cleaning up the shop and get prepped for spraying epoxy early tomorrow morning. Good morning. All right, I actually opened the shop up at 4:45 and put some fans in here to cool it down. Got busy doing a bunch of stuff, and before you know it, it's 6:30. So the car is blown off. I taped off all the holes. So all we have left to do really is just Wipe down the whole area again with some wax and grease remover and do a little bit of masking so I don't get any epoxy anywhere I don't want it. And then we'll be just about ready to mix them up and start spraying. It's already 83 degrees in the shop, so we need to get going. I can't believe how quickly the time went by. So let me get this wiped down, and then we're gonna go ahead and get some masking done. Okay, I got some wax and grease remover in one of these little pump sprayers. It works out pretty good. So we're not wiping it on with a rag and then wiping it off with another rag. We can just spray it and then wipe it away and keep turning the rag. So it'll go pretty quick this way. And I keep reminding myself it's just the underside of the car. So quit trying to do it so perfect, but I can't help myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish all this up, do the whole area where I'm gonna spray plus some, and then we'll get some masking done. And I think we should be ready to rotate the car in a good spot and go ahead and start spraying. So I'll bring you right back. Okay, got it all masked up. That took an hour, way more than I wanted it to. You can see how I've masked it and then rolled it back on itself. That way when I'm spraying this, there's no distinct line I have to sand out. So that I just want to get some epoxy in this area anyway. So same thing, similar thing on the wheel lip right here. Just left the tape sticking up, and so when I'm spraying that, it just kind of makes the air curl back and carry the material with it. But we are ready to go. So I'm going to rotate this thing up on its side again, and we'll mix up some epoxy and get to spraying. All right, we're going to be spraying the Napa brand Martin Senior Tech Prime Plus DTM Primer Surfacer today, the epoxy. This mixes up 5 parts epoxy, 2-part reducer, and 1 part activator or hardener. And I've already marked up these cups. I went ahead and measured them out with the other cup, and then I just marked a bunch of these generic cheap ones I get from Smart Final. It works pretty good, and they're super cheap. I get a whole ream of them for almost nothing. So it's been a while since I've sprayed anything, so hopefully I remember how to do this. Let me get this stuff mixed up real good here. We'll get a batch going, and then I think we're ready to turn the fan on and finally spray some epoxy on Ruby. Just gotta go for it. Now, as soon as we get the hardener in here, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more reducer, I think, to make it flow out. It's pretty warm in the shop already. Okay, I got the car rotated so I can reach this. I think I'll just rotate it the other way to get the other side, and then maybe put it vertical when we need to do some other areas, but I should be able to reach all this real easy like this. So I've got the gun wide open. I've got probably 12 to 13 pounds PSI, and I've got the fluid nozzle back just so it just touches the trigger. So it's basically wide open. This is a 1.4 millimeter tip. So I think this is actually a little small for this gun. I didn't add the extra reducer. We'll see how it sprays with this thing set wide open with a little bit of extra air pressure. Looks like it's laying down pretty good. I just got to slow down. I'm moving fast like I'm spraying clear, so I think we're doing really good. That stuff came right back at me the whole time. All right, got half of it done. It's looking pretty good. Got something going on right here. It looks maybe, I don't know if it's a little contamination or what. I can't quite tell because the sheet metal is kind of wonky right there. And it looks like I got a little heavy-handed over here a little bit. So what I'm going to do before those things run, I'm going to go ahead and rotate the car over the other way, spray the other side. So that is just about 1 quart RTS ready to spray, mixed up, everything ready to go. So it's going to take 2 quarts to get 1 good heavy coat on here. I was going a little too fast over here, didn't flow out like it should have, so I'm going to put another coat right there. But I think we're going to just put 1 solid coat on this, like for the underside, and then we'll probably sand it, maybe do some filling, I don't know, we'll see what we're going to do, but we will get it sealed up. So let me get this thing rotated over and spray that other side, and I'll bring you back. Okay guys, all done. Air is clear, gun is clean. It took a little bit of extra cleaning on the gun because those wheel wells really kicked that paint right back at me. It got me too, but the gun, it was every little pore and nook and cranny on that thing, but it is clean. So how'd it go? I sucked. I'll tell you straight up. I mean, I think I put more runs in this than I ever have in my whole life, and I've been painting since I was like 15. So that's pretty sad. And what happened was I was going a little fast over here, then I slowed down too much trying to make it flow out. And for my style of painting, I think I should have added a little more reducer, just a little bit, so it would spray out a little bit better. I'm kind of feeling, and I'm not making excuses, but I'm thinking that 1.4 millimeter tip is a little small for this viscous of material. And so it's just not spraying out like I'd like. So, but I'm not making excuses. I've been painting a long time. I know how to adjust, and I didn't do that so well today. But my mind was thinking, Mark, get a really good, nice coat on this thing so it'll never rust again. And my trigger finger was going along with it. So I did put some sags in it, some runs. There's one right over here or right over there, you know. But if you guys look, I mean, it is tight and sealed. You know, it's looking really good, really happy to get this sealed up like this. And I hit everything. I'm sure I got everything really good. That epoxy was thick and it was really spraying good. I really got the hang of it over here. And really, this is a new product for me. So I'm still learning how to spray it. And that'll happen. So start spraying on stuff that doesn't matter that much, or stuff that'll be easily corrected. You know, that way when you get good at it, then you're spraying the more important parts, and you won't have as many calamities like I did today. But that part is done. Finally getting some epoxy on Ruby. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. Sorry I'm laughing, I still can't believe I put all those runs in there. But that wraps up this video on prepping Ruby's floor pan on the bottom side. We got it prepped up really nice, and we accomplished what we wanted to do today, which was get a really good coat, a heavy coat of epoxy on the underside. A little too heavy in a few spots, that was on me, but I'm the guy that has to sand them out, and you're probably thinking, well, what do you care? You're just going to spray undercoating underneath there. Well, I'm not going to spray undercoating. We will be using bed liner more than likely in the wheel wells, probably 3 or 4 good heavy coats to protect those really nice. But the underside of Ruby will get the same color that's going on the top, the red. I won't be spraying base coat, clear coat underneath here, but probably a single stage, but it will be a matching color for the top of the car. So I want this smoothed out really nice, which means fix all my runs, and I'll probably get in here with some body filler and fill some of these, you know, some of my welds and some of these uneven spots, and just hit it with a DA. I promise I won't go overboard too much. But yeah, we want this super smooth and looking really shiny and beautiful in red. So that's the plan on that. But we finally got some epoxy on Ruby. It's been nearly a year. We're coming up on a year since the car was dipped. So we're just about at a year when I actually started tearing her apart. So yeah, it's been a long haul, and I can't believe it has taken this long to get here. But we've got a lot of work done, and I think it's going to speed up a lot here in a minute. So thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.